The death of the Redeemer sent shockwaves through the eternal realms. In hell, demons celebrated it as a decisive victory in their war against heaven. Spawn's brutal act of crucifying the Redeemer's body atop a church, with the bloody message, "He walks among us," written across his stomach, was more than a desecration. It was a signal to heaven, a direct provocation for Armageddon. News of the Redeemer's demise reached Yahweh instantly. His fury was swift and vengeance burned in his heart. Summoning Archangel Michael, the leader of heaven's armies, Yahweh demanded answers. "How could this happen?" he asked, his voice shaking the celestial halls. Heaven was now on high alert. Michael, being heaven's strongest angel, assured Yahweh that he would personally investigate the situation. But Yahweh's tone was stern and unyielding. "If you do not return," he warned, "the rapture will be enacted on earth immediately. There will be no second chances." As Michael prepared for his mission, Yahweh gave him one final command: "Take Zera with you." Zera, one of heaven's most powerful and relentless angels, was a warrior without equal. The stakes had never been higher, and failure was not an option. Heaven's forces now stood on the brink, ready for the war to come. Michael, though loyal, could not hide his hesitation. "Yahweh," he protested, his brow furrowed, "releasing Zera is a risk. She's dangerous, unpredictable, even to us. There's a reason she's been locked away in the shining city." Yahweh's gaze hardened, his patience wearing thin. "These are desperate times, Michael. The throne of creation itself is at stake. Do not question me again." Reluctantly, Michael bowed his head, realizing the gravity of the situation. He knew Zera was not just any warrior. Zera was the queen of the seraphim, one of the most powerful beings in all of existence, and her name was whispered in both reverence and fear. She had been locked away in the depths of heaven, within the shining city, not because of her strength, but because of her madness. Zera's endless bloodlust and insanity made her a threat even to the celestial realms. But now, with heaven on the brink of war, Zera had been set free. Once unchained, Zera would waste no time. Her return to the battlefield on Earth would be cataclysmic, in the past single-handedly annihilating entire legions of the Forgotten Ones, ancient enemies long thought dormant. As she fought, her insanity and bloodlust took physical form. An enormous, white-furred, bestial humanoid avatar that towered over the battlefield. This monstrous avatar, fueled by Zera's fury, was capable of breathing white celestial fire, obliterating anything in its path. The avatar moved with terrifying precision, following Zera's every command. She reveled in the carnage, her maniacal laughter echoing across the realms as her enemies were incinerated. Michael was there from a distance, clenched his fists. He knew Zera was a weapon they needed, but how long before even they couldn't control her in the upcoming battle? As Archangel Michael descended toward Earth, the Underworld stirred with unrest. In hell, rumblings grew louder, for Lord Mammon, now the ruler of hell after Spawn's rejection of the throne, had taken a keen interest in Spawn's newfound display of power. Mammon was far stronger than the former ruler, Malebolgia, and though Spawn had disrespected him by throwing Malebolgia's entrails in his face and declining his offer, Mammon still saw potential in an unlikely alliance. All of hell remained on high alert, anticipating the possible outbreak of Armageddon. The legions were ready, knowing that heaven would not take the death of the Redeemer lightly. Should the war between heaven and hell be triggered, chaos would reign across the realms. Mammon, always scheming, viewed Spawn's growing strength as a wild card, a force that could either tip the balance in hell's favor or lead to its downfall. Meanwhile, back on Earth, Spawn stood in disbelief. Nyx had shown him what he had done to the Redeemer, but his mind was foggy, unsure of what had truly transpired. His memories were clouded, and the weight of his actions pressed heavily on him. He couldn't remember the details, only the violence and the aftermath. Nyx, her voice calm but concerned, explained, "When I touched you, I felt a great void, something dark, something I couldn't penetrate. But within that void, I sensed unimaginable power, something beyond anything I've ever felt." Spawn, disturbed by her words, clenched his fists. Whatever was inside him, it was growing stronger, and even he was beginning to lose control. Mammon's gaze was already on him, but heaven's reckoning was imminent and the clock was ticking. Michael, flanked by a host of angels, pinpointed the Redeemer's crucified body along with Spawn's location. He turned to Zera, his voice commanding, "You do not attack until I say so. Got it?" Zera nodded, though her eyes blazed with disdain, her bloodlust barely contained. On the ground, Spawn felt the celestial presence approaching, but stood his ground, unflinching. Michael descended before him, floating in the air, his gaze stern and unwavering. "You there, Hellspawn. Is this your work?" He pointed to the crucified Redeemer. "Yes, but..." Spawn began to explain. But before he could finish, Michael's sword flew from his hand with blinding speed, aiming at his heart. The distance between them vanished in an instant, and though Spawn moved to dodge, it was too late. The blade severed his right arm cleanly before he could fully react. Spawn gritted his teeth, watching his arm regenerate slower than usual, but the pain made it clear. This was no ordinary angel. He knew he was facing a warrior far more dangerous than the Redeemer. Michael's sword instantly reappeared in his hand, his eyes never leaving Spawn. Spawn now starting to get angry. "Listen, as I was saying, yes, it was me," Spawn said, standing firm. "But I don't remember the event." Michael smirked, not fully convinced, but he could sense something was off. This Hellspawn was different, stronger, more dangerous. Whatever Spawn had become, it wasn't something he could dismiss lightly. Spawn, noticing Michael's smirk, snarled, "You should wipe that smile off your face before this shit gets real. Just walk away. You don't have to die." Michael's expression hardened, his voice dripping with disdain. "You are beneath me." Without hesitation, Michael gestured to his elite angels. "Dispose of him." As the 10 angels surrounded Spawn, he closed his eyes, appearing calm. The angels, caught off guard by his indifference, attacked in unison, but the moment they struck, everything froze. The angels, mid-strike, were suspended in the air. The very world around them seemed to be caught in time's grasp. Everything except for Michael and Zera. In the blink of an eye, Spawn acted. He sliced one wing from each angel, his chains lashing out like serpents. As he unfroze time, the angels were flung back, their wings severed, crashing to the ground. Michael's eyes narrowed as he witnessed the display. Spawn's ability to stop time, a power few knew he possessed, had rendered even Michael's upper-ranked angels helpless. Yet Spawn knew this trick wouldn't work on Michael or Zera. Spawn's gaze locked with Michael's. "If I wanted them dead, they'd be corpses by now," he growled. "But you, and that dog you've got on a leash, keep provoking me, and I'll gladly tear you both apart." Michael, now taking Spawn far more seriously, could see that this wasn't going to be easy. The battle was just beginning. "Oh, you want a piece of Zera, do you? That you shall have," Michael sneered. Zera, ignited by bloodlust, was practically trembling with anticipation. She had waited for this moment to unleash her destructive powers. Spawn braced himself, ready for the battle ahead. But suddenly, everything around him stopped. Time itself seemed to freeze. Even Michael and Zera were locked in place, mid-motion. Spawn's heart raced. He hadn't caused this, and now his own powers were being suppressed. He tried to teleport, but nothing worked. He was conscious but unable to move. Then he heard footsteps approaching from behind. "Who's there? Show yourself!" Spawn demanded. A voice responded, calm yet ominous. "Oh, I go by many names, but for now you can call me the Man of Miracles." Spawn could hardly believe it. This being had frozen even the Archangel Michael and Zera in place. Whoever this was had power beyond anything Spawn had faced. Still defiant, Spawn sneered, "The hell do you want, old man?" The figure chuckled softly. "You have no idea what's about to happen, do you?" His voice was heavy with meaning, as if something far greater was at play. Before Spawn could answer, the figure asked, "What side do you fight for?" Without hesitation, Spawn growled, "I fight for no side, neither heaven nor hell. I fight for myself." The Man of Miracles smiled knowingly, his presence radiating mystery and power, as if he already knew Spawn's answer before asking the question. Things are in motion that cannot be undone, the man of miracles said, his voice calm but heavy with inevitability. You will have to make a choice sooner than later. Just understand this, an extinction-level event is coming for this external reality. As he finished speaking, he gently touched Spawn's forehead with a single finger. Instantly, memories flooded into Spawn's mind, memories of love, of his past life before he became Spawn. But with them came the horrors, all the people he had killed, the twisted pleasure he had taken in some of those moments. It was an overwhelming torrent of emotion, and Spawn collapsed to his knees, shaken by the contrast between the man he once was and the monster he had become. The man of miracles watched calmly, a faint smile on his face. How fascinating humans are, he mused. Such a capacity for violence, and yet they can love, innovate, and create marvels with beauty all around them, only to destroy it in the end. As the man of miracles turned to leave, he left Spawn with one last thought. Just remember what you're truly fighting for. We will meet again at a pivotal moment in time when your decision will matter most. And remember, you still don't know what lies within you. Spawn, still reeling from the emotional onslaught, looked up, but the man of miracles was already fading from sight. Say the word ready and time will resume, the voice echoed as the mysterious figure vanished, leaving Spawn alone, time frozen, the weight of his memories and a cryptic choice lingering in the air. Share, like, comment, and subscribe for part 2 of the Spawn Armageddon series to get caught up. Watch. Spawn, embrace the darkness.